All right. Hello, Race Brain Podcast. My name is Rich Ryan, joined today by Jack Bauer and Bracken Crocker. We have lots to talk about. Whole lot of things to talk about. BK, what was your favorite part of the weekend?
Oh my goodness. Favorite part of my weekend was watching the 3K on the Diamond League.
Ooh, I didn't catch it. I
You,
just know Jakob's going crazy.
oh, okay. I was about to say
Oh
you haven't
no.
heard, Rich. Oh,
I've heard. I can't be spoiler free for the rest of my life on track and field.
yeah.
This happens.
Yeah.
Great. Jack, your favorite part of the weekend?
Well, my favorite part was not paddleboarding when I basically was trying to get out of the water, stepped in, 3, 4 inches of water just right along the shore, and I stepped on one of those prickly burrs, and it got like a bunch of things stuck in my foot, so my foot's tender right now. But otherwise, paddleboarding itself was pretty fun.
You keep doing goofy sports, getting hurt. Stop it.
That was a freak incident. Yeah.
Roller
This is
skating,
why you don't have
This
a
is
chance.
why stepping on the ground.
Yep.
Yeah.
stung by an enemy. That's what got you.
She got me, an urchin or whatever. Yeah. I'll be
Colorado
fine.
urchins. So we did have some fun races this weekend in the track and field world, but also in the OCR and hybrid space. Today we're going to be talking about FISO World Championship 3K, 15K. Lots going on. Whole lot going on. Then we're going to touch base on DEKA Fit in Pennsylvania. Some really cool performances happening out there and some not cool stuff, of course. So let's start with FISO. FISO? You say FISO, I say FISO?
I'm going FISO.
I think it's French and it's pronounced shit show.
So there was some.
That gets a
where
few
should we
points.
start?
If we're doing our around the horn thing right there, Bracken, Tony Reality's slamming you with points right now.
The show that Jack is distraught by
cancel it.
losing, but
Yeah.
hasn't watched
Doesn't
for
watch
20
it.
years.
Yeah.
So I was checking out the results. It's on Athlinks. Gave me some feel goods. Checking out some results back on Athlinks. I was like, wow.
I like
I
that.
remember when we did things proper. This
The
3K
watch
course
party was on Athlinks. Oh yeah.
So I'm looking at the 3K results. This course was 13 minutes long. 13:45 was the winning time on the men's side.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy, isn't it?
That's got to be the fastest race that I can ever remember. Seriously, I think the only one that might have been faster, Bracken, were you there? Reebok had like a 2-mile invitational in Connecticut or something for Spartan.
Wasn't fast.
It couldn't have been this fast, but I thought there was a time when it was like a 15-minute course, but that was a huge exception.
Yeah, this was fast.
So it's the second annual FISO World Championships. We were pretty hyped on this last year. It produced a very deep field. This year the field was also deep, less volume of athletes. I think Matt put out something of about how many participants there were. It was like
I've got
a
it
fraction.
also, yeah.
Jack, do you have the numbers right there?
Yeah, so last year in the 3K for the men, we had 63 elite and 344 age group. This year in the 3K, we had 37 and 131. So there's a big drop off.
How many elite say the league? About half? 60 to 30?
37 versus 63.
Wow.
And 131 age group versus 344 last year for men. For women, 16 from 39 and 63 from 123. So it's like half across the board at least. And they didn't list DNFs on Athlinks. Last year, there were about 300 DNFs in the 14K and about 270 in the 3K. So who knows?
The format here is a 3-band structure where you can fail up to 3.
Up to 3, I believe. Yeah.
And then it's a DNF. And you just pass by what you fail and you give up the band. It's like a pass band.
I know there was a video where Nicole fell off something with banana grips and she just it looked like she just kept running afterwards. And I think she gave her band. I don't know if it's you reach the finish line, then you have to do like a penalty loop depending on how many I didn't get that part of the rules. But my guess is you finish with greater than 1 or 1 or greater and you're good. And if you don't have bands, you get DQ'd. That's my guess.
So just a caveat here, PSA, I think we caught some flack on this event last year with when we would criticize, but again, we are reporting based off of what is available to us to consume, right? We don't know everything that happened down there because there's nowhere to see it, right? It's basically just kind of taking it in from the results that we see on Athlinks, the stories that we've heard from athletes who are down there. So we get it. We're not going to get everything correct here.
Yep.
But
Definitely.
as fans of the show, as fans of the sport, this is what we have. And this is what our takeaways were.
And Matt, he and I were talking right before this. There's some stuff going on behind the scenes still as of Monday. Check out ORM. They're going to have more stuff coming that's official, but there's still stuff that's unresolved. So a lot of this is just going to be speculation. And by the time you hear it, it's probably going to be different. You can also listen to the Talking Dirty OCR podcast. They're in the UK. I know that Becky Neal was over there locally, and they did a really good job with the 3K preview for the women or for the women's preview, because they're kind of an OCR women centric podcast, but they'll have more like finer details than us.
Yeah, the complaint last year was you guys weren't there. How dare you talk about something negatively that you didn't experience how awesome it was?
Right.
And our response is, we are not a podcast of the athletes for the athletes. This is of the sport for the sport. And the sport tuned in remotely. And that's what we're basing this all off. This is the outside perception of the sport. Same as this year. No, we were not there. We consumed it like the people consumed it. And we are reacting for the people, not for the athletes who were there. Just like I had an awesome experience on my Spartan Ultimate Team Challenge team, and no one knows about it because it didn't make TV. You're not wrong by saying our team probably sucked because we didn't make the final. Even though you're wrong, you weren't there. You didn't see how awesome we were. Doesn't matter.
No airtime?
No airtime.
Nothing.
But it didn't change the fact that it was an awesome experience for us there. And everyone else who didn't witness it was right in their critique of us being there and not being there. That's the way this goes. If you don't show anything about it, you are held to that standard. So that's how we're approaching this. We weren't there, and that's okay. Neither was 99.999% of the OCR world.
Yeah, and
who we speak for.
If you saw my DMs, like I'm reaching out to people and using Google Translate for 5-6 different languages all the time, just trying to get inside information from people who are down there. But yeah, it's kind of like what Bracken said. It's if it was in a story, which I think is the stupidest way of communicating, it's gone in 24 hours, and hopefully retain some of what happened. And if you don't have a really reliable live stream, it's kind of hard to know what was going on during the race. So we're gonna make errors, I'm sure. But
yeah, let's get into the error making. So Athlinks, however, should be locked in. On the men's side, 3K, we're starting with, again, Steen Legrand was 13:45, screaming course. Crazy. Yessa Deher was 13:51, and Frank Oosterom was 14:02. All three of the podium finishers are from Netherlands, home of OCR.
They are unbeatable if you look at OCR World, European Championships. If there's ever a team race, you see that team hang on the Netherlands. That's those three guys. They cannot be beat.
If US put together their like VJ
Ryland and Kempson or something.
And Kempson.
Yeah.
Can they hang?
It would be a battle, even in like a Euro style.
No,
I don't think so. Yeah,
they went 1, 2, 3
on
our course for sure.
Two
different sports.
Two different sports, yeah.
So I'd love to see it, but yeah.
Finishing out some of the top five, Igor Beloslov was fourth in 14:46, about a minute behind. Nikita Kryukov, how's that, Jack? Kryukov was 14:54. Then Leon Kofod was 15 flat. For the USA, Kevin Thompson was our first finisher in 13th, which is very respectable. And then I think it wasn't until Logan was 22nd, Marquez Green was 24th, Sam Osborne, or I'm sorry, I might not have the right ones right now. I'm thinking, 22nd, 24th, then Sam Osborne was 27th.
Marquez was 24.
Yep, Marquez was 24th, and then Ethan Brown was 28th.
Yep.
And I think that's how it was. So what did the obstacles look like down here? We saw the bananas, which was just like a rig of bananas. They should
Yeah,
hang
that-
one real banana in there and not know which
just
one.
mess with
I
you.
like that.
Just
And it's like-
interchangeable bananas.
Just squeezes like, oh,
Let's see the crush grip. How good are you?
yeah.
Or they put banana peels on the course like Mario or something.
Just, yeah, like some are fake. Some give you good grip. Some give you the spinning out grip. But this was traditional European OCR, right? Like hard grips, different variations of rigs, high rigs, low rigs, just very technical hand grip obstacles. How many obstacles were in this? I mean, could it have been that many if this time was this fast?
Well, I don't want to jump ahead. I saw another one or another post where someone was like, you guys promised the standard course would have 50 obstacles, but there were only about 20.
What?
So I don't know what the heck went on there. So I didn't see the obstacles like in detail. They had some that were shown on that kind of static revolving camera, but I think it was probably a solid mix of European style and like low rig, that kind of stuff. But clearly it didn't slow down the top guys.
Well,
So
I
then
did
what-
a lot of digging this weekend, boys. I
You
did
did?
a lot
Oh,
of
boy.
reading. A lot of reading. I read rule books. I read mission statements. I read a lot of things.
Those are important.
Short course. On their website, the verbiage is a 3-kilometer stadium and cross-country style race with 20 plus or minus obstacles.
This is clear as day.
Plus or minus.
This is clear
20
as day.
plus / minus. So they
What's
held
the
to that.
margin? What's the minus?
There is
or
no plus minus margin.
Okay.
It is more or less than 20. Does that mean it can't be 20? It's 20 plus minus.
If it's
Is that
20,
the only
plus or
number they
minus
can't
zero?
commit to is 20?
is that what people are like refuting? It's like, I thought there weren't going to be 20 and there were 20. So I need to be up on that.
Let me go
podium.
back. It's a 3K plus minus in parentheses, stadium and cross country course. Standard course is 15K plus minus cross country style with up to 50 obstacles. They will not go above 50, but it can be any
can be
number
below.
up to 50. There is no floor. It could be 0.
20 is up to 50.
So standard course is up to 50. Short course, there is no upper ceiling. It is just 20 plus minus. So if that doesn't give them room to not fail, nothing does.
I like it. I think that's how they should just do these things. They should just be like, hey, this is going to be
Close
an
enough.
OCR event.
We did a 13K this year instead of a 14K instead of a 15K. Like
I mean, that's what Spartan used to do, right?
Yeah,
That's
I mean, it's
15
like,
plus minus.
it's like, hey, you
there's a
show
plus
up.
minus. Were
So
you a
no,
math
on the
teacher,
web-
Bracken? Yeah.
There may have been other things that were said, but on World Obstacles website, they state up to 50 for standard course, 20 plus minus for 3K. And they abided by those very, very specific numbers.
I like it. I think that's fair. On the women's end, Ulrike Evanson smashing 1755 for the win. And Jack, did you called the second place, right? Or you called you
Beatrice.
called this? Yeah, you called out Beatrice.
I was like, she should
William
not be in that
Silvestri.
last heat. She should be in the first heat. And look what happened.
That's crazy. And that, I mean, who knows what happened down there? So, but we're assuming she did run in the last heat and then finish second overall.
Yeah, and Logan did the same thing on the men's side
men's
where
side,
he finished late or started late and finished really well. Beatrice, I think she got 4th in the 13K. It's like this corral system was not done correctly.
So,
So
shouts
to
to her.
reiterate, she was a national level 800 meter runner.
Yeah, she was like a 212 800 runner.
And they
not
put her in the
national
last
level.
wave of the
or
short
209.
course and not the last wave of the long course.
Jack, you got a 209 in you right now?
Right now, oh god, not after
Not
my
with your foot.
$400s.
Not with that sea urchin up in your foot.
No. Sea urchin's out. Don't worry.
That's
about
like
that.
nature's spikes. You're spiked up.
Got,
I think
also take grip.
210 would be a very, very difficult line to set right now. Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
But Beatrice also got 9th at the Universal Ninja Associate, whatever their thing was. So very good ninja, very good top end speed.
This is a good.
Second place is her result.
This is a good format for her.
Yeah.
Alyssa Petrova, who was currently our #1 ranked athlete in the Race Brain Power Rankings, which we'll get to tinker with today. That's
Oh,
fun.
we're gonna.
We're gonna tinker around.
Too soon.
No, what do you mean power rankings?
Yeah.
Right now, Alyssa Petrova finishing 3rd.
You've
I
got
don't
this.
know. I don't know, dude. Jack, help me out with this.
You
You don't even have it.
like no Quinny Verhagen.
Quinny Verhagen.
If you say it with a question mark, that's not confidence.
Verhagen?
Well, I'm trying to remember. It was 20 something, and I think
Yeah,
it was Verhagen.
maybe that's Verhagen. Verhagen.
Verhagen.
Like an IJ Verhagen. And then
Our
Nicole
girl
Miracle
Q.
finishing 5th, which was a surprise to us.
Without knowing the full details, because this weekend's kind of seemed like a mystery. When I saw those results, I was like, is this a typo? What happened? There's no way she missed the podium. Because Bracken, I think you mentioned that you would bet your life that she would win or be on the podium, or so. I think you're dead now.
I said if I had to, that's the one I'd want it to be on. Yeah.
Yeah. So R.I.P. Kirk. Now Bracken. It's bad.
So since this
Yeah.
is my last race brain episode, I'm going out guns blazing.
Let's
Today.
go. Let's see.
do
Let's fire off some
All right.
takes.
Yeah.
Well, we did see at least a clip of Elisa coming off of an obstacle looking pretty like a difficult looking obstacle right in front of El Ricky, and then Nicole in a chase pack. So I'm guessing there were some obstacle misses here that would.
Yeah, I think that was the
create this
banana
kinda
one
gap.
that I was telling you about.
It was like kind of like a up.
Oh yeah, they had that at over under or something. They call it that at OCR Worlds, but it wasn't done the same. It was just kind of like a up, like something
With
like a
like some
hat or a
tricky
campground,
holds.
symbol that you'd see on a roadway sign. You know, flat goes up and then goes down again.
Something.
Yeah.
Something.
But going back to Beatrice, it's like Erika was in the first wave and won. And what was the gap? Like 30 seconds or so between the two, 31
Yeah,
seconds.
almost exactly. Yeah, 30.
Stinks.
And
Yeah.
she's a novice in this sport. Put her up against the best. It's not unrealistic to think that she might gain 20 to 30 seconds just by matching pace.
Yep.
She's going to be a problem for years to come.
She a problem for sure.
Telling you, I texted
did.
Nicole like maybe a year ago. I was like, "There's some girl Beatrice, definitely. She's a new name to watch for. I don't know if she's gonna come to the U.S., but she's good." And a year later, it came true.
Jack never will shy away from a moment to remind us of something he said that we did not care about then.
Just like Rich won't stop bashing High Rock's illegitimate guys' times.
I was good to go. I was baited. Was that last week, 2 weeks ago?
That was last week, yeah.
I was good to go. BK brought me down. It's crab in a bucket. I was coming out, pulled me right back down. Should we move along 15? Do we know anything that happened on the 3K? Did we get any report from Nicole about the 3K race or anything?
No, Bracken might have more details, but
Nope.
Nothing.
Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. I don't know a
Yeah.
thing about that race other than
I believe him. I believe he doesn't know nothing.
So if we're
Yeah,
moving
couldn't watch
on,
it.
if we're moving on to the plus or minus 15K, they decided, we did it in the stadium. We did like around the venue. It looked like about 1.95 miles. So probably 3.1K, that's close enough. I'm fine with that distance for a 3K. But
So there was some
100
concrete then, like it was in a stadium.
They were in
there
super
stairs.
shoes.
Yeah.
They were? What were they wearing?
Fast.
Dude, there's Prime X behind you?
Oh, and he tunes in.
Look at
That's
that.
Prime X strung 2.
Bang. Those look good. Have you tried? You're into them?
Hot. I haven't run in them yet. I just got them yesterday.
Gonna be bouncing.
My goodness.
What were they wearing on their feet out there? And
Start line had a Vaporfly.
That's great for an
And-
OCR race.
Yeah.
well,
Where are we
VJ
Vaporfly
was
3 I saw at the start line for sure.
Oh,
VJ
you
was
did
an OG
that for
wearing
Saudi
Endorphin
Arabia.
Pros.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Abu Dhabi.
World 3K title has never been won in non super shoes in the last 2 years.
That's the thing. Back in the day, these kids are just running. We were just running barefoot. Now they got super shoes. These times are all illegitimate. That's why they ran.
All
so
you got to do is
fast.
put one water pit or mud pit in the middle.
It's over.
No one's going to use them.
Slippery. Yeah.
That's for sure. That's for sure. All right, plus or minus 15K. Yessa DeHare taking the win over Steen Legrand in 101.43. Steen was 102.49. Igor was 104.42 for third. Frank Oosterome, who was third in plus minus 3K, was fourth. And Eduardo Esteban Garcia from Spain finishing 5th in 65.40. And our man's Logan Broadbent, 66.51, finishing in 6th place. Kevin Thompson was 11th. Good showing for him overall for the weekend. Marquez was 16th. Sam was 17th.
You skip over Hosick?
He's not in results.
Oh, he is initially 10th.
I thought he was also, but I'm looking and
He was in 10th.
Where's Ian?
And then he didn't get bumped back. Oh, he was in 9th and then got bumped back to 10 when Logan came through. But now he's not there.
Do you see him in there, Rich?
I don't see him on Athlinks, and Athlinks is the standard.
Well, now we have a question mark on the weekend. Great.
The first one.
We needed that.
Yeah.
Hold on, maybe just if I sort
For all
this
this
out.
clarity.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't see him
Because
in
I
that
remember
position.
seeing him. Yeah, he was 8th or 9th, and I was like, okay, we have a top 10 finish. Like, I doubt too many people in later waves are gonna end up running faster than him. Maybe Logan, and yeah, I don't see him.
You saw that before the finish, or he finished in 10th.
He
No.
was because he was one of the he was wave 1 or 2. He was in
During the live
finish
updates.
line for much of the day.
Yeah,
No, don't know.
that is strange.
Our guy Logan, though, Logan's just a man. He probably went down there. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Costa Rica because it sounds fun, and that's what I'm about. It's
Throw
about
some
that.
boomerang.
He's just gonna go out, have some fun, see the people, maybe get on a YouTube channel, meet some YouTubers.
Oh, we've got to talk about that.
On the women's end, Elrike Evanson, 2 world titles in 3K, 15K, and she won the 50K,
Ultra.
right? Yeah,
Ultra
this
beast.
is some
This is a month.
this is some kind of range she's showing. Was 115.24. Nicole Miracle was 115.45. Elisa Petrova 117.19. Beatrice Moyen Silvestri 121.21. Elsa Ripcha was 122.39 to round out the top 5 there. And then Casey Monroe was 13th. What's up?
So you said first, second, and third. You know what happened, right?
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm trying to give us our USA people some shouts. Vivian Tran finishing 26th. And was that the entire team? I think so. Courtney Washington.
Ashley Heller was down there.
18.
I thought.
I don't see her either.
I don't know if she finished.
I do not see.
Yeah,
All
there
right.
were several names who I remember seeing in the initial results, and now they're not on Athlinks. This is kind of weird.
So I really am not up to date with what happened here. I don't know what was going on. I saw Matt was making posts, fairly cryptic, but that there was something being disputed about the result. I don't know. Jack, you know, that smirk on your face.
I know, but I am
You
going
love
to,
knowing things that I
to
don't
not
know.
talk as much.
Oh, come on.
It's no. So
This
so
isn't
it's-
Hyrox or Spartan. You're not risking any
Jeez.
ramifications
I know.
here.
I don't want to steal Matt's story. He's the one who told it. This is on
Nah,
him.
we're not,
So
we're
go
not gonna,
check out
we're not,
our.
we're not posting it on
is
Instagram.
his
We're
Would Matt
just-
steal
story.
your story?
Yeah.
Exactly. Good
Yeah.
point, BK.
Yeah. All right, but
No,
anyway,
you be a stand-up man.
yeah.
I
So-
support that.
So anyway, what happened was after the race, someone filed an appeal, and currently it's still under dispute. So like I said, check ORM. They're going to keep filling in details as stuff comes out. But triple winners were awarded. 3 people got the gold.
What?
I have never seen that.
We're number 1.
Yeah, it's like Oprah Winfrey just throwing out, you get a first place, you get a first, but like what? That is absolutely ridiculous. So that's the current thing. I don't know how that will hold. But there are
Wait,
pictures
what?
of 3 people, 3 women, the ones that you mentioned, Elisa, Nicole, and Ulrika, all holding up a first place gold medal. It's very confusing.
I mean,
Now, the
that's
post said there were unreconcilable differences, and they couldn't determine how to adjudicate it. So everyone
good.
gets a gold, and then no one loses, except the person who won,
Yeah.
and now is not the outright winner.
they couldn't just go by who crossed the line first and time.
Unreconcilable.
That you,
Yeah.
This is like divorce court. That is a divorce term.
It's bad.
I just don't want to hurt anybody's feelings here.
Is this the ultimate trophy generation move?
No,
Just give it.
this
It's
is
pretty
someone
bad.
who's trying to cultivate public favor and doesn't know how to deal with the consequences of their
Yeah.
actions.
I'm trying to find the picture. It is
Okay.
it's not good.
Tell me if I'm getting like warm. Was it like somebody missed an obstacle, or was it?
I don't
somebody-
know the finer I really don't.
Here's what was said.
But if you want me to play along, Rich, go ahead. Yeah. Keep
I'll
going.
play along with speculation
Let's go.
from athletes that were there, from teams who had a horse in the race, a dog in the fight. So this could be biased. The top 2 women were directed not to complete a certain obstacle for reasons of which I have no clue. At that point, speculation ran rampant that they skipped it, that they intentionally cut the course, that other people did not get that same direction. And so because the top 2 didn't complete the same course as everyone else, there was an appeal filed by people who were not the top 2 to get them disqualified or penalized according to the rule book. The top 2 were directed by an official, and as such were following in accordance with the laws of the on-course authority. And so they did nothing wrong. And because they couldn't decide which one mattered more, the rule book or the on-course regulations, and the appeal process didn't necessarily have a process to fit into that, even though it did. They just said, you'll all get a gold. We don't want to hear any more of it.
Why did the first 2 get?
Now, this is solely my
reinstated?
reaction to things I heard from people who
Okay.
were there and
Okay.
non-native English speakers.
Okay.
So
So
do
I
with
can't-
that what you will.
I will.
Unreal.
If this is the scenario,
Jack's not
played out-
arguing me.
Yeah, I know. Smirking like again,
I'm-
smirking like he
I'm
knows
not
something.
arguing.
Some kind of poker face that guy got.
It's
What I'm
real
saying
good.
is,
Maybe
if
I'm
Jack's not arguing, it's
bluffing.
not 100% wrong. What I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what I'm
plus or
saying.
minus wrong.
If it was wrong, Jack could be like, and Jack knew, he would
Be like, don't
he'd
you
have to
dare
tell you. He'd have
spread
to say it.
this false information.
He'd have to say it.
Yeah.
If that was a scenario, again, we don't know. We don't know. What do you do? If you were the panel, if you were the decision maker here, and the top 2 were actually misdirected, what do you do?
You can't punish someone for something that's not their fault.
No. You talk with that, whoever the marshal was or whatever who misdirected him. If they screwed it up, how can you penalize the athletes for following the orders on the course? You're the first one to reach there. I remember I went to a race in SoCal where like Costa Rica or something like that. And I was running down a trail and I reached some intersection where there was just some confusing markings. And there was some official who was on her phone just texting. I'm like, where do I go? And she's like, oh, just follow the course. I'm like, I don't know where that is. And she told me to go one way and it was the wrong way. And I had to come back and I was like, well,
Nice.
the stupid official screwed it up. So the official screwed it
Well,
up
let's
here.
not name call.
Did you get
Yeah.
Did you get a gold medal for that?
No, I got 3rd. I was winning though. I was kind of bummed.
See,
I think you should get a retroactive gold.
Yeah.
we give you a gold. We
Yep.
award you a gold.
Appreciate it. All of you got 3 golds. But
We
I
all
think
get
it
a
should
gold. I get a gold too.
yeah. I think if the official misdirected you, that's on them. You're just trusted. Like, you don't know if they changed the course. There's something wrong up ahead, so they rerouted it, and there's you're following their rules right there.
Right. It's just a bad call.
Yeah.
It's a missed call on the field.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for third, unless it was like a bucket carry, right? They were about a minute and a half in front of third.
Yeah.
So to say that caused a minute and a half of difference, even if you were going to do like whatever DEKA is trying to do, where they're trying to add penalties based off of the infringement, which they shouldn't have. We'll get into that as well.
The only logical explanation I can think of not having been there is if said athletes who did not have to skip that then struggled on that obstacle, and the skip was done as this obstacle isn't necessary, it's too hard or whatever, and other people got stuck on it, then there's a legitimate gripe.
Totally.
However, can you penalize the athlete for following the rules? Now, here's where it gets a little tricky, because if you go on FISO and World Obstacle and you go down to the different downloads they have for you to get, here are the downloads available. Athlete and entourage conduct guidelines. That doesn't cover it. Uniform rules. That sounds pretty official. Preliminary detailed schedule. FISO TUE application form. So we're checking the boxes of things that our sport has never tried to do before. Therapeutic use exemptions, uniform rules. entourage conduct guidelines, eligibility to compete, adaptive athlete classification form, invitation letter you can download. Not sure why you'd need that. And the OCR 100-meter obstacle rule book. There is no rule book
No
on
3K?
World Obstacle for short course or standard course in their download links. They have 8 downloads, including how your entourage has to behave and how your uniform must comply. But there is no rule book on their website that I was able to find. Now, does it exist out there? Obviously, it does.
So
But
there
all
is,
we have is the 100-meter obstacle rulebook to go off of, and there is no verbiage in there for what supersedes the rulebook, the official on the ground in the moment, or the rulebook, which rulebook states in the 100 at least that you can't go past an obstacle without completing or you're instantly disqualified.
So there is a, I mean, this is 23, it says, but if you go up, there's a link from those downloads that does say
But not current.
competition rules. They say 2023, so whatever
Correct.
that. So
I have a Google Drive link.
But I'm saying their website in their downloads does not have the rule book.
There's
Yeah.
no 2024.
Like
Yeah.
right here, that's 2024 Costa Rica, and it says obstacle rulebook standard. It mentions the August 2024 dates, and it does go through like attempts and sandbag carry, all these other ones.
Okay. What does it say about on-course officiating?
Oh, like for instance, here's the banana one. It tells you where you can grip or not. So
And that's dumb right there, right? We've talked about this for years.
I know,
Don't put things that you can't touch on a hanging rig.
Yep. I'd have to go. I'd get an answer this quickly. It for the most part, it just looks like here's what you can do. Here are general rules for engaging on holds that you'll find on the course, penalty loop, forbidden behaviors, start procedure, wristband. So they do have like some stuff outlined, but what we're looking for, it might take a minute to find, honestly.
The thing that they ran into, what happens if you're directed on course? Do you follow the rule book or do you follow that? And then what happens if that official's wrong?
Okay, so now here I am in 3.8 right of appeal. Athletes punished with a penalty have the right to appeal. Protests, 3.9. Are these different, protests and appeals?
You file a protest against someone else. You appeal your own punishment.
I see. So it says no, because it says no protest may be filed with respect to matters which were observed by or previously ruled upon by a race official. So that would be if Alyssa saw them, if she's like, hey, I'm protesting, that should not be allowed by what I just read.
By what you just read, yes.
Yes. No person may file a protest which requires a judgment call. A judgment call, as used in these rules, means the resolution or dispute involving one or more material facts which cannot be determined with certainty solely through the production of tangible physical evidence. Physical evidence may include images and videos.
Which they had.
They did have. Okay.
That was one of the issues. They submitted video on this.
Now, is this kind of going
that
back
was
to
the team race, actually. It was the team race, the video that they came down to.
Now, is this the whole issue we've always had where it's like, should you be an outside person presenting video or should it be official? There was an official feed showing video,
This doesn't
right?
state that. So I'm guessing that you can, if you just had like a camera, then that would be okay.
So here's what the real issue is and why we're even arguing about this, because this happens at mom and pop races all over the planet all the time. There are judgment calls that get made. One official says one thing, someone else is running over, you're like, hey, this person said it, and they just make a call and go, and people argue a little after, and then it moves on. Is that this is a governing body who, in their statutes, states that they are the sole and exclusive world governing body, and the sole, this is 1.1.3, the sole competent authority for obstacle sports and related technical disciplines. Also states that all bodies and officials must observe the general statutes, regulations, other rules and regulations, and decisions of FISO. So they're saying that we are the absolute infallible authority and then go on to make problems. And this is what my argument and yours from the start has been, that we wouldn't hold you to the standard if you didn't keep shouting from the mountaintops that you are the ultimate governing body. That's the real problem in all of this. OCR has the longest leash of any sport I've ever been a part of, right up until people claim to be the one. And then they hold you to the values and rules and actions of a legitimate sport.
Is this similar potentially with, rewarding medals later, appeals and all that stuff? Wasn't there a gymnast from the US who just got third and now she's going to lose it or something because they filed an appeal later and they're I don't know the full details of that. I just kind of saw the headline, but is this a similar circumstance?
Yeah.
But like,
except they follow the rules.
And that's a subjective sport. Like, this is a race, right? Like,
Yeah.
You start and
you don't get deductions because you use two hands on the monkey bars versus one. Like, it's just completely.
But apparently you do.
Yeah.
Apparently you can. And what is it with OCR? Is it just that there's so many scenarios that we just can't really wrap our heads around happening, or that the the race to put on just is so hard to manage, that because no one does it right. No one's doing it well. Every time something happens, every time a new race comes along, it's the same shit. Why is it with OCR, outside of just being like, hey, the people, whatever? Like, what is it with OCR that why this continues to happen?
Broad strokes, they don't ask the people who have experience to know how to do this. Spartan athletes didn't create the Spartan rule book. Ryan Atkins, Nicole Miracle, Yessa Stein did not get consulted on these obstacles or on the rule books, on these compliance, on the regulations. There are people, Steve Hammond wasn't consulted. There are people who have decades of experience to look at a rig and say, this is going to cause problems. Because it's so varied, but if we just do this one thing, it won't. If this happens on course, this is how we deal with it. It's because they keep making arbitrary decisions made by people who are not sport experts. They are on the industrial side. They are on the business side. They are behind the scenes, and that's not who should make these calls on, will this flow well? Are these logical sport rules? They don't consult the people who can do this. And as a result, this is what people run into over and over and over again.
It's very similar. Like, I'm in engineering, but a lot of times people who are engineers have never done any field work, and then they come up with this crazy design. And it's like, how are we going to build it? You don't think of the people out there physically doing it. You're just like, oh, I'm sitting behind a desk. This makes sense, but it's not how it actually works. And this is very similar. It's like, if you're not an athlete who's doing this kind of stuff, you don't think of situation A, B, C, and what could happen. And it doesn't have to be too complicated. We shouldn't have a rule book with section 1.3.2 paragraph A. Like, why do we need that for getting across a certain obstacle? It should be very simple.
The example for this is rolling mud. Someone who course designs rolling mud would put the tape on the edge of rolling mud. A racer would look at it and say, you've got to move the tape in about at least a foot or two, because if there's any wiggle room, I'm going to go up against the side of the tape and go around it.
Ryan Kent.
Yeah.
And how many times has that happened in races?
Mick did the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. It's there. You're going to do it. And a racer would just say, hey, man, you're going to have people skirt this. You understand that. And they'd be like, okay, that makes sense. It cost me nothing to move it in. And this conversation cost me nothing. But if you don't ask that question on every obstacle, you're going to constantly have it on camera where people are like, he's cheating. Like, no, he's following the course that you allowed him to follow.
Yeah.
All right. And then there was also some controversy on the team race on the women's end. Same thing, an appeal was filed. The U.S. women finished in third. I believe that was Vivian Tran, Casey Monroe, and I think it was Ashley Heller, right?
Crossed the line in third, right?
I don't know. How am I
I would call that finishing.
How am I supposed to know this?
Oh, I thought that currently there's some issue there as well.
There is, but I'm saying, yes, they finished the race in third. Yeah. Crossed the line in third.
I think they got it. But I think they finished in third because of a DQ. So maybe they crossed the line in fourth.
Okay.
And then
now, this is another one of those. You're reading non-native speakers and you're reading people's reports that have a dog in the fight. But if you believe even a fraction of what was said, there were numerous things happening. People said there were countless disqualifiable infractions on course. Well, even if that only meant one, like that's one too many to allow it to even like a judgment call should be so black and white that it's not a judgment. Everyone goes, wow, that person didn't do that. Not, could that have been interpreted weird?
Yeah.
Mhm.
The fact that there might have been multiple instances just again says that the flow of the race was set up incorrectly.
So, what are the takeaways we have from this race outside of, I mean, Enrique just being on a different level now, like truly knocking down some of the two of the best that we've had. Alyssa Petrova was on a hot streak that we haven't seen since Lindsay, really, where she was just taking wins. And to beat Nicole Miracle, who is the defending champion at both of these distances, or no, just a 15K last year.
Ida was 3K. Nicole was
Ida was
14K.
3K, right?
Nicole got second.
There is no defending champ at the 15K.
14K.
14.
14K champ.
It was 14 last year.
That
It
was
13
minus,
this year.
15
So very
minus.
plus or minus bracket. Come on.
15 minus, dude.
We're going to be single digits soon, and then your boy's going after it.
Yeah. Well,
Hey.
3K single digits.
That 20.
Rich, you're right. Ricky has just taken a leap forward. And maybe she hasn't. Maybe she's been this and she needed non-long distance running courses that were only running to prove it, but she just won an ultra.
Yeah. Hasn't she, did she do OCR World Champs before, Jack? Or the European one?
Yeah, I'll pull up her like kind of stat line. Just to give perspective, because she's had a very like it's so promising career, and then a couple things have happened. Like at 2018 Euro Champ, she DNF'd in both the 15K and the 3K. She DNF'd at the 2022 Euro 3K and the 2024 European 3K and 15K. She didn't finish either of them earlier this year, and now she's double champion right here. But
Sandy.
yeah, actually, that's not bad. It's like, the talent's there, and when it delivers, easily could be a world champion. But yeah, she won the 12K at Euros last year. So sandwiched in between, various DNF. She's finished second, third, fourth, fifth, just various times at Euros or OCR Worlds, and just won the Spartan Ultra World Championship. She's on the national team for Denmark for trail running. Like her range is ridiculous. 3K up to 50K. She's won toughest Europe, the 8-hour races. I think she's done world's toughest mudder. And all this while battling freak injuries to her arm, lower body and stuff. And it's been a roller coaster ride, but she has delivered.
Yeah.
Are you ready to do some power rankings? We are.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, I'm pulling it up. How's it look? Can you see it?
That's wild, showing John Alvin in the power rankings. But
That was a BK.
He hasn't lost an OCR race this year.
I
wouldn't
know
let go.
it's crazy.
He's like,
I
I
wish
will
he was back.
quit. I will quit this show if John Albin's
But this
not
is
number
power
2.
rankings, right? Not current in
Not all-
sport rankings. This is today in history power rankings.
What is the difference between what you just said?
Like this is not like over the best year, like last 12 months. This is most recent snapshot.
Yes.
This
This
is like,
season.
a team just had a big upset in college football, so they're going to move up while the other team loses, even though their season might be better.
Gotcha. Okay.
What have you done
Just
for
want to
me
make
lately?
sure, because last time we had some power rankings blowback after the episode that how can you possibly say Nicole Miracle is the 4th best in the world? Well, I mean, now maybe.
Turns out now.
Yeah. Or Ryan Atkins is 5th. How can you say that? So just setting the stage that we are ranking current.
This is the Power 11.
All right.
For some reason, we ranked 11 people, and we're sticking to that format
Yeah.
because
Start with the women. I just went over Ulrika's stats.
she has to jump to number 1, right? The
She has
previous
to.
number
Fight
1
that
was
to
Alyssa
2.
Petrova. What's that?
I'm going to vote for 2.
She just beat Alyssa twice, head to head.
She did.
So why
But
would
it doesn't
she
change the fact that Alyssa beat her prior. Recently.
All right. If
Not,
we're looking
not
at
as recent. Jack, what do you think?
2 podium spots at Worlds does not diminish what Alyssa did prior to
Okay.
this. It cements the fact that she's as good as we thought.
Here's the other question, Bracken, though, or that might support Bracken. So I just mentioned that Ulrika had 2 DNFs at the European Championship in the 3K and the 15K. Alyssa won both of those, and she has 2/3 from FISO, and Ulrika has 3 straight World Championship, if you want to call it that, wins with FISO and Spartan Ultra Beast. So it's like, do those DNFs offset it? And prior to that, when they raced FISO last year, Ulrika finished 3rd and Lisa was 4th in the 3K.
Why are you talking about last year?
I know. I'm just saying, like, head to head.
Cutoff is Tough Mudder still.
What are we talking about head to head for like lifetime? We're not doing.
Is Tough Mudder our cutoff?
I misspeak and say one extra. You guys don't only. I'm giving you some data points. Just one thing.
We're not talking. This isn't the Okras.
Yeah.
You're making Okra arguments.
Okay. I was.
Ulrika just beat her head to head twice.
I get it.
Jack, what were the dates on OCR Euros?
You guys do this. I gave you your info. I'm done.
No. I'm supporting you, Jack. I'm saying that last year FISO is too far away, but OCR Euros is recent. That supports your argument.
Probably.
I'm on your side.
Probably the past 2 or so months. Isn't it Italy?
So what my question for Rich is, where's our cutoff for power rankings? Last time we called it at Abu Dhabi. Now we're a couple months further. Is the cutoff Tough Mudder now? When is the cutoff for when we can count?
You can do whatever you want in terms of cutoff, but like the way I'm looking at this, if the 49ers played the Giants 2 weeks in a row, beat them head to head, but the Giants had 7 wins in front of them before, like, that were different. Like, I would say the 49ers are better than the Giants.
How about this? Rich, he wins the DEKA World Championship, and you didn't have the fastest time heading into there, right? For DEKAFIT?
Yeah.
It's like he won the world title. That's got to hold more weight in the current rankings.
Head to head.
And all I'm asking is, what is our window for currency?
Well, I mentioned last year's FISO only because it was in September, which is a 12-month rolling window. But if we're only looking at like the past few months, then
they both just raced each other.
But 2 DNFs out of 4 or 5 big races, despite that, because they both have 2 wins, and Alyssa's next best marks are 3rd, and Ulrika has DNF. I think you got a solid argument that Alyssa could stay in first.
And I guess the argument against me is that everybody got first place in that 15 plus minus. So like, I can't really use the Ulrika head to head. I mean, they tied. They tied in that one. But
I don't recognize the board's authority, so I'm going by finish result. I will give you that one, but I'm siding with Jack in that in the past 3 months, Alyssa is first, third. And Ulrika
she only has 2 wins, and
I guess I was going back too far to Tough Mudder.
Oh, okay.
I was going back to Alula.
Tough Mudder.
But if we take that away, she's first, third, and Ulrika is first, DNF. So she has 3 great data points and 2 bad ones, and Alyssa has 2 great and 2 almost great. If
you guys want to keep it there.
I almost said to be the champ, you got to beat the champ, but you just did twice.
Just did twice.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. It's like that. Like if we look at High Rocks, right? Like to put Alex in front of Hunter, like you got like what you're saying, because like, oh, we got to look at Hunter. He set the world record in Stockholm and beat Alex head to head. And then Alex beat him at the World Championships. It's like you wouldn't put Alex in front of Hunter in that scenario.
In that scenario, I think I would.
All things being said, I'm going Ulrika as number 1 just because it's recent. She has to be. It's an easy argument, obviously, for Alyssa with those DNFs, but right now she had 2 opportunities to beat her in multiple distances and did not do it.
Come Okra time, we can talk.
I'm okay with this.
Power ranking right now.
She has to be.
I'm okay with this. She's just
2 for her last
in the
2.
World.
Yeah.
That showed up.
Yeah.
All right. So I think just based off of, did we just leave Esther at 3rd?
Nicole has a 5 and a 2 this weekend.
When did Esther race last?
I know.
A couple weeks ago.
What did she race?
Yeah, what?
She won a national series race in Europe. She hasn't had the same, high level competition that Nicole has this year, even though we've only seen Nicole twice with Alula and then this past weekend, right?
You guys have totally convinced me. Recency bias. Get
That's
Esther out
power
of there.
rankings.
I need
Yeah.
people racing now.
All right.
Yeah. So
Are we moving
Nicole's moving
Nicole
ahead of
up?
Esther.
Okay.
A 2 and a 5 and a second place ahead
And a
of
first.
Ulrika. Yeah. Oh, and a
What was
first.
the
You're right.
first?
Yeah. Well, everyone got a
The
first.
menage
And
that
the
they have.
first. I think Annie needs to drop just because like she's injured.
She can't be on it. Well, I mean, you did she win Utah? No.
No, she didn't.
She wasn't there. Okay,
Lauren
never mind.
Weeks
I was
won.
gonna
Are
say
we putting Lauren Weeks on here?
maybe.
Yeah.
And Sandy was, I think, 5th or 6th in the 13K.
She was a little further. Oh,
Sandy
she
was 6th. Okay, now Beatrice has to be up here.
Yeah,
Get
I
her on
think
this
so.
list.
I think so.
So I think she goes ahead of Esther.
Riz is like, I'm not trying to
I'm copying and
get
pasting this
this
shit
name.
somehow.
I'm copying this.
I'm gonna click it until so many times until I can copy.
She got
and
a
paste.
hyphen. She's
That
yeah.
shit ain't happening. Is she 5th? Is that too much recency bias? Like
I vote
with
4.
the sample side.
I mean, no,
4.
Is it ahead of? She just ran a local Spartan and lost by 3 minutes like a month ago, though. So it's like she's not
To who?
unbeatable, but she did perform. But some other woman in Canada who's up and coming.
Like you wouldn't take Esther. You wouldn't take her over Esther.
I don't think you could. Esther has won national series results and like she's stayed kind of close to home. She didn't travel over for this, but
BK does heavily weigh FISO though.
I'm all on that. But my question, my argument to this is who had the better weekend, Nicole or Beatrice?
2-4 versus 2-5, or well, 1-5.
I mean, that is like fair.
So
you're right.
Nicole hasn't raced this year, so we're only putting her up because of how great she's been prior.
And she had a Lula.
She did. So I can have her ahead of Beatrice, but no more than one spot.
Yeah, that's a solid argument. So we're
front of
bumping down Esther and putting up. I think
if you went by finish order, Beatrice had the better weekend. If you went by the 3 first places, Nicole had the better weekend.
Yeah, this one's tricky too because she didn't.
Not wrong.
They didn't, but then she didn't really race anybody head to head. You know,
That's also true.
So she might have been at 80%.
she could be better. We could.
You might
make an
have more
argument.
power in the tank right now, and this is a power ranking.
That is true. Bracken's mad about the recency thing. Now he's just gonna throw
This
it
is my
in our
last
face.
episode.
Bang!
Yeah, he's going.
All right.
I'm fine with that.
So I think that takes Annie off. Power 11.
Yeah.
I think
Soda Beckstrom, she got 8th and 9th this weekend and was rough. I think she was 2nd at European champs. She was on the podium in one distance. I think she's got to stay in that top 8.
Yeah, she's right at 8.
Yeah.
Helena was not at FISO.
Lauren Weeks has not lost an OCR race this year.
Cindy was 6th. That is true.
Henriette, how did she do? She's always really good over in Europe. Henriette has a 7th in the 13K and 10th. So 2 top 10s. Just looking for anybody else who has that. I think she's the only one who's not on this list so far.
Let's take a look at the 3K too, see if anything.
Yeah, Quinny ran age group for the 13K, which is very strange after getting 4th in the solo.
She might be just an obstacle specialist.
Yeah. Well, she still had a good finish.
She might not have been selected.
Yeah, her time would have been 14th if you combine age group and elite. So that's probably not enough to
like you're like I'm just can't. I'm not if you're in an age group race like I can't do it. I can't put you in the top to the power 11. Sarah's right at 8. Signe, where was she in the?
She was 6 and 12 this weekend.
I think we stand.
Let's just stand. We don't need to go too
big
much.
shakeups though.
Big shakeups.
Big
At
emotions.
the top. Let's take a look at some dudes.
Are you putting Lauren in or no?
No.
You just pronounce it Stein.
Is that how it is?
I mean, you wrote it phonetically. I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So Stein the Grand stays at
One of
top,
those two.
right?
Stein's got first in both distances at Euro and a first and second this weekend. Yessa has 3 seconds and a first, so he's got to be
Yes,
one
it's got to
place
move
behind
way
him.
up.
Got to be number 2.
Did you see how fast that 13K was? Also, an hour 1 for an
Plus
OCR. That's
Might have been
crazy.
yards.
Plus minus. Could have been yards.
Plus minus, yeah. VJ's out.
I think Hawk is now number 5.
Okay. Did he wait? What did
That's a suggestion. That is not.
So
a
he's done
demand.
enough to.
well, Luca
offset-
Pescalderon? Yeah, I don't know.
Luca has to. I mean, neither of the two above Luca have raced.
Right.
Luca's
I think
dealing with an injury, so-
Atkins needs to go down.
Yeah. Second place. I think Hawk, after what we saw in Utah on heavy legs, like he's got an argument to be 3.
He does. He's
You know,
done it more recently.
What's
More
Gregory
than
done?
Albin.
Yeah, where's Gregory been?
I'd have to look it up, but he hasn't raced in the past month, I don't believe.
Is Hawk Hall third?
I mean, we got to be
I'd
USA
be fine with
here.
them there.
We're
Yeah.
doing way too much Europe stuff right now.
Totally. I agree. Let's get this.
I don't want them all to like us.
No.
Yeah, but
You're
then what
doing
about
you're doing the work over there, BK. Though you're going international. You said Mr. Worldwide hasn't been worldwide, but worldwide podcasts, spreading that good word, letting people know
Mhm.
that hey, we don't hate you. We just like ourselves better.
I couldn't have said it better myself, but I'm glad you said it.
Thank you. Let me take a look.
how about Frank from
Yeah.
Oosterom?
And Igor.
Igor?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Igor's not on ours at all.
because
I
Frank
mean-
has a 3-4 this weekend.
Are you saying Frank?
That's how it is. Like
No, it's-
Frankfurt.
No,
like
it's
endurance.
not.
All right,
You're just saying
Frank,
it.
there
You're
you
saying
go.
it a
I
little
like
bit
it.
different.
I'm on board with Frank.
You're
There we
saying it a
go.
little bit different to be. Is he fourth?
He's got a 3-4.
Well, what about Igor?
What did Igor have?
Igor was 3rd place in the longer distance. Let me check what he was in the short. I
Fourth.
thought 4th. Are
They
they
were
both
3-4 and
3-4?
4-3.
3,
So
4,
it comes
4,
down to
3.
Euros.
Yeah. Now we can go backwards.
Okay. So at Euros this past year, 15K, Frank was 9th. And I do not see 3K. No, he did not run. Oh no, wait. He was 11th and 8th for the 3K
We got
and
better at
15K.
Worlds.
And trying to filter out Igor. Igor at Euros did not race.
So Frank is ahead of him. 6-7. We cool with that?
Sure.
Super cool.
Is Albin in the right spot still if we're going recency?
No, nor is Gregor.
But like he's.
Gregory.
I know, but like
But these people didn't go top 1 or 2 at
they
any.
were in the same race. Like if they were in that race, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Mhm.
We can't just punish them for not racing.
Yeah.
To a point.
Is there anyone we're missing?
Yeah, there go to the results that Eduardo, and I think Lucas was top 5. Lucas Florentino. Just look.
I'm on where am I at? Long course right now.
Short course.
Hold on. They don't have it popping up for me. I'm not using new tabs. I'm screwing it all up. But hey, I would like to have this open in a new tab if I'm clicking results, you know?
Oh yeah.
We go short course. Didn't do it again. Elite. This is the content that
Yeah,
we
Eduardo
provide.
was 5th and 7th this weekend of Spain.
All right, well, let's look at the list. Are we bumping out Thibaut Jean for that? Is that worth?
I don't feel the need to include people in a top 11 power rankings if they haven't made a podium at a big event?
Over people that, like, if Tebow was here, that's the thing. Like,
Over the fact that he made a podium. So someone's non-podium result, I don't want bumping out a podium result. That's my personal take on this.
I think that's fair. We got to get rid of somebody, though.
Yeah.
We got 12.
We can bump Tebow just to bump.
Tebow's just out.
To keep power 11.
Jack, does that work for you?
It matters.
Nikolaj over Tebow?
It hurts, but I'm fine with it. I still don't think that Albin should be 4, personally, but at this point.
What has Basilico done over Albin this season?
I'd have to look it up, honestly. I know he's won a couple national series races by like a big margin, but
it does look weird to me too. I agree. Like, because we're probably not going to see him race for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
we might never see him race ever again.
Ever.
Until there's another
statute of limitations is going to run out on him very quickly.
Yeah. So when we run,
but today is not that day.
Today's not that day. BK will walk out of this show.
Yeah.
Before we get rid of Albin, we cool with this? Steve LeGrand?
I'd say it's fair. Yeah.
Hanging on to his number 1 spot. Yes, the hair making a huge jump into number 2. He's probably undervalued early. Hawk Call making a big jump to 3. Albin holding strong at 4. Gregory Basilico 5. Frank Oosterholm, huge jump to 6th. Igor Belisov was 7th. Luca Piscolderon, Pavel Hordina, Ryan Atkins, Nikolai Dam.
Ryan Atkins, the 10th best OCR athlete on the planet right now.
We haven't seen him.
I know.
He's the 10th most powerful.
10th most powerful.
Yeah.
On the women's side, Elrike Evanson, Alyssa Petrova, Nicole Miracle, Beatrice Moyen Silvestri, Esther Horta-Bagyova. Don't even need to read it. I'm not spelling it.
She's got one name.
Esther. We know who we're talking about. Sandy Menchie, Helena Schuster, Sarah Beckstrom, Petra Arvella, Lisa Musacchio, and Yvonne Su.
Before we go on, honorable mention, Magic Mervin finished the race.
Whoa, okay.
No slip wall out there.
It's not stuck in there.
That's like big.
That's
like
huge.
3 years, we were worried he was stuck. Like
I'm out in the dunes.
Yeah.
Just gone. All right. Is that it? Did we do it?
Are we going to mention the stupid mob that happened?
Oh my God. Of course we're going to mention that. That's very race brain.
I didn't know flash mobs were still a thing.
So, Costa Rican YouTuber, right?
No, he's not even from there. He just travels Central America, apparently.
Central American YouTuber was just like, hey, this looks dumb. Let's go ruin it for people. Nothing violent.
800 of his closest 10-year-old friends with him.
That's insane that he got that many people out there.
Oh, it was more than 800. It looked like it.
It was more than 800?
That looked like a lot of people.
They were kids too, which makes it weird because you can't just like punch a kid.
Tear gas him. Today,
Ryan Kent wasn't
Ryan,
there.
I was gonna say Ryan
would.
would.
He would have let him know. He would have got him
No,
out of there.
let's not muddy the waters right there. This is about an airplane incident, not actually physically punching a kid.
He would think about it.
It's the worst when a mob approaches you and you reach out and you grab your pistol and you realize it's a laser. And you can't defend your race company and you're just stuck there.
You can hit him with it.
There's no spears anymore.
No.
Pistol is digital.
Did that interfere with the schedule, or was it like after?
It was after the long course and in like the evening before the team race. Basically, just people looked down from the hotel and it's like, what the heck? There are hundreds of people just out of nowhere.
Pull-ups. He looked like he could do some pull-ups though.
Were they lockout though?
Together.
And he was doing one arm. He was like changing one arm, doing it. Yeah, it was like pretty good.
Okay.
It was the most aimless. I don't know if I just took it as a protest, so I'm going to judge it as one. It was the most aimless demonstration I've ever seen.
Just content for content. I don't even.
There wasn't even content. Everyone just kind of hung out like they're on a playground.
That's all it was. So to answer your question, Jack, will this spread OCR in that region? I'm going to go ahead and say no.
No.
Go ahead and say no that they don't care.
Yeah.
We can get that.
I think that might have spread it more than the event did.
Is
You
this
had
the they were looking
1,000
for
youth come out.
you remember the 3K was looking for spectators for Spartan? You got your spectators, and
And
there
if
was a
one
3K.
out of every 10 had fun on that rig, hey, he might be back.
They might
I'm
be back.
impressed that rigs can hold that many people.
That's yeah. I think BK's right that FISO stumbled across some influencer marketing, and
Guerrilla
that's going to be
marketing.
much better than not showing the race and giving everybody first place finishes.
That was the best coverage I saw of the weekend.
That was without a doubt the best quality coverage from our
So
YouTuber.
before we wrap, I just want to pose it to the panel so I don't have to answer and be more negative about FISO World Obstacle,
I say
Ian Adams,
FISO.
and all that stuff.
Yep.
What did this do for their brand, for their credibility, for everything? What did this weekend do? Is this an advancement for them? Was this a step back, or were they already back far enough that this is just their, again, it confirms they are who we thought they were? What did this weekend do?
Well, they already announced earlier this summer that next year is going to be in Sweden for the World Championships. And I think that despite some pretty obvious shit show moments this weekend, since it's in Europe, you're going to have Europeans show up. You saw Europeans, for the most part, and some top athletes already decide to go despite them mentioning there was going to be no prize money beforehand. Like, people showed up, they wanted the prestige. And I think that this will not have the impact because it's a race where you're going to have a lot of good athletes show up due to the geography next year. So I don't think it's going to long-term have a negative impact. They probably realized maybe Costa Rica wasn't the right move, and maybe let's stick to more established markets going forward, but who knows? But I'm just glad that it will be in Europe next year because of it'll just get more athletes to go, and people will forget about this.
Yeah. We will remind everyone. Yeah, I think that that's right, Jack. I think that this is probably not necessarily a positive step, but I don't think this is a sign that what they're doing won't attract athletes. I think it was geographically misplaced in such an early time. And yeah, I think that this could still be the premier OCR event going forward. At the top, it was still pretty solid. We could use a little bit more depth, but I think it's fine.
US has some work to do on the world stage. That's what it's showing. And I know that it's not, the best of the best. Like, Kempson's injured, Ryland's had his breathing issues. VJ's not doing OCR right now. Atkins, he's a new dad. Like, you're seeing some of the top names in North America not show up, but we still had some pretty reasonable people, and we didn't come close to the podium on the men's side specifically. And only Nicole really delivered.
Left behind.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what type of time span it would take to make up the gap that Europeans have on Euro style OCR on us. They move through obstacles differently. They train it differently. We are so entrenched in the idea that we can strength our way through obstacles that it takes a Logan or a Green type athlete that even has that movement type to get through Euro OCR style. I think our best would struggle against them. And I don't know how long it would take to undo that. I like Kempson's odds. I really do. But
VJ would have done well.
Mm-hmm. But we have very few we can stake our claim on.
Yeah.
Where for years we had very few we could say outside of the US will do well at Spartan Worlds. It was hard. It's the complete inversion of that. They've surpassed us by far.
Yeah.
I think
the
so.
Results speak for themselves.
I think so. Speaking of US OCR, Spartan just announced Trifecta will be in the United States.
In
Did they say?
West Virginia.
In West Virginia. It did say West Virginia?
Yes.
I knew that was speculative, but in that post they did say it said West Virginia, huh?
It was Spartan's actual post, and comments aren't too receptive of it.
Why? West Virginia rules.
So some people are like, yeah, that I'm sure it is. It has a great reputation, like, among US athletes. Like, it's the course to go to pretty much. If we were going to design a world championship, that was going to be our proposed location in the US, right?
Mm-hmm.
So clearly, like, it's a great venue. It's not an altitude mountain. It has a bit of everything. But some people, do you remember when Joe DeSena was like, yeah, you can get buried at Sparta and stuff, and like he made the 300? Well, it's like, how's that gonna that's not gonna hold up too well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's certainly not as epic, and like the synergy of the brand doesn't work as well. It doesn't say West Virginia on here, does it?
Yeah, it did.
Oh,
Yeah,
it does.
I saw
it
in
does,
the
it does.
comments. Yeah,
It says it
said
in the it says it
Bechtel
in the
or something.
caption. It says it in the
Yeah.
caption. Doesn't say it in
It-
the graphic.
This is one of those moments where they're punished for backpedaling on something that was more epic in scale and nature and name, but it's a good move to make it every other year in Greece because it's going to drive numbers because it's more exclusive. You don't want to miss out on a Greek year now.
Yeah.
It's a good move, except that it's a reduction in product from a lot of people's standpoint. So while I like the move, I understand why people are mad.
And it's so hard to get to West Virginia. It's hard in the United
Even in the
States
US.
to get to there. Yeah. Like you're driving like 6 hours no matter what. Even if
Say
you fly in.
DC, Charlotte, New York.
There's like a Charleston you could fly into, but that's definitely
That's
not
not
going to
gonna
be
be
cheap.
Charleston's the best to do for
And
travel.
it's still like over an hour drive, right?
Charleston, West Virginia, not South Carolina. I'm assuming you're
Yes.
talking.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Charlotte's where I went last time.
How was that?
I mean, it was a necessary evil. It was a clean flight. Cheap flight. It was like, I'm gonna drive either way. I might as well get the cheapest flight and then drive up with Kowalski so I can spend time with someone I
With
like
your
rather
boy.
than being alone in the
Solo.
middle of
Yeah.
nowhere.
So it's just worth mentioning. We're going to move along now, but I think that that's cool. But it's because I live in the United States and I like West Virginia. I can understand why it's frustrating. Definitely not as epic.
Hey,
Again,
you've won a race there. Maybe this is your turf.
maybe
You
I'll,
going?
maybe I'll come back to West Virginia for this trifecta. You know,
I have
Seems
a
like
question
good
for you.
move.
Would you run a hot lap?
I like
Would you-
WTM.
Yeah, basically, like choose one of the races that you're racing and just partake in the other two, but try to win one.
Oh,
Oh, like sacrifice your trifecta
Just like
weekend. Where you're like, I just
I'm
want to.
winning the sprint or the super.
probably not. I
No.
probably not. No, not right now. Maybe when I'm retired. Would you do that?
I
You
would
wanna go
do the whole
race one?
trifecta.
Let's go do.
I
the
couldn't win one of
trifecta.
them if I wanted to.
Yeah.
That's what I
I
mean
could go
too. I
all
don't
in
think
on
I
any
could-
of them.
This is
I
in
don't think I'm winning-
2014.
I don't think I'm winning a sprint on an OCR anytime soon. All right, let's move along. We had DEKAFIT Pennsylvania this weekend. We have one more stop in the United States to solidify our World Championship field. This is the first race in the Northeast of the season, so you get some different athletes who we might not have seen thus far. On the women's end, speaking of that in particular, we had a brand new athlete slipped under Jack's nose in the
I
second
screwed it
heat.
up.
Screwed it up like
I'll
this is not the
I'll
first
take
time.
accountability.
Won't be the last. That's for
Yeah.
damn sure.
Yeah.
Kat Fassbender runs 33.
Fossbender.
Fassbender runs 33:15 out of the slow heat. That's the fourth fastest time in the world this season.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Katie D'Ambrosia ended up second with 34:34. Katie Duke crossed the line first in the first heat, got a penalty, 34:33. Then Bree Schrader, who I don't know that name as well, 35:23. Alondra was 35:35. Janelle Teal. There's some good times out here. There's some good times out here. We don't have to go all the way through them, but let me see where that ends. People.
Michelle Navarro set a PR.
Michelle Navarro was season best for sure. There's some. These are really good times. A really deep field of athletes here, so it's going to make it interesting for the top 15. Good number that they've decided on for the World Championships.
Yeah. So basically what happened is I look at the seeds or everyone's PRs, and I've got all the DEKA strong fit and mile results, but I was just up against, I didn't have enough time to go deep into it and check that she ended up running in Nice for High Rocks doubles for World Championships. So I should have put her in the first heat. So
This is her first time that she's done individual anything.
Yeah.
Right. Like I mentioned that I do know her. She's been working with the RMR squad. I did not know she was going to run this fast of a time. So even if you told me, I'd be like, I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah. And when there are like 14, 15 women who have a sub 39, 38 in this race, it's like they've proven themselves. Like it would be kind of unfair to kick them to heat 2. So
You still blew it.
I messed it up, but I got like 9 of the other 10.
Nice job.
But I messed up the most important one.
Let's talk about the men real quick. Grayson Kilgore running a very impressive 30 flat on the nose, waxing Dave Magida. 30-31. Magida, the reigning silver medalist. Mark Paulzine, Wisconsin boy, 30-45. That's pretty. Is that his
Huge
first
PR.
That's
That's like 45-second PR type.
That's his
deal.
first time under 31, I believe.
Yeah,
Keith
he was
Hardwick,
31-20-ish.
Keith Hardwick 31-09. Rock solid Joe Cotto 31-16, which is typical, right? He's anywhere between 31 flat and 31-30. So again, really solid depth out here. I mean, we had 10 guys under 34 minutes.
Yeah.
This
was a fast result across the board without it looking like an outlier venue.
Right.
Is the way I read this. This looked like people made jumps.
Yeah. When I messaged you guys and saw the results, I was like, no one ran under 18 minutes for the 5K. And
false
for men. Oh, okay, Alex, but he finished like 8th or 9th.
Got him.
You got me. Again, this race just, it's my kryptonite. And then on the women's side, it was 19:01, I believe, was the fastest 5K for the women. So it's like, those are all reasonable. People just really worked the machines hard, and it paid off.
It was interesting seeing Alex. What did he do? 17:40-ish?
34.
34. So he was 30 seconds faster than anyone else. And it just goes to show that you can't necessarily just win deck on the run.
Yeah. It looks like he got waxed real hard on the sled push. He must have been out of gas. He was 251. It's not what you want. Air bike was like 137.
Ooh, that's falling apart. Yeah.
So yeah, he did it the hard way.
There was a 20-second swing, I think, on his 500s by the end, right? Or was it 10?
Yeah. I mean, his first one was fast. Then he was like 143 after the lunges and was 148 after the push pull. So not terrible.
I thought he hit a 153 at the end.
He still was on. He was 155 after the bike, and then 144 after dead ball. So like he did pretty good. He did pretty well.
He just didn't have the power.
So that'll be some shakeup on the leaderboard. It's not up to date yet, but Grayson Kilgore is now kind of inserted himself as someone we need to recognize. He
would have been sub 30 if he and Magida didn't run past also. So that kind of stinks that he's right at 30 flat. He actually messaged me asking how much you think that impacts. Like running by, I don't know how far he went, but do you think that like it's a 10-second swing? Just
it's not a minute.
Yeah.
So.
If it was one stride past, it cost him 29.59.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely could have got it. He would have been an under, but it wouldn't have been the fast time of the year. So, between Dylan, gotta say Riker, if Magita's going to come back in the form, Isaac Sanderson, Grayson Kilgore. Now there's a good field that will be fighting for that top spot, and it could be open. It could be anyone's game.
Do you think Ken's
last episode,
sure.
I asked if this was a reduced year, and now after this one, it's like the times outside of the high flyers, a Ryland time, or you were Kent popping something. The number of people sub 30 is going to be as good as ever.
I agree.
It's just so it's rounding out into a very deep and competitive field.
Yes, without maybe the people at the top. Now let's talk about this women's field or this women's race really fast. Penalties. Cool.
Our favorite.
Sick.
DEKA penalties.
I
know a thing or two about those.
I'm taking a victory lap on this one.
You are.
We should have just kept poor Jessica Viglia disqualified so that we didn't have to open the door to this bullshit happening now. Yeah. Like, great, we changed the rules. And now people are going to get penalties. Great. That's what we wanted here. Now it's going to be, everybody's going to be like, looking at everybody else, a lot of finger pointing, a lot of this and that. It's going to go back to the OCR days. It was the worst part about OCR. You finish and then you don't know what place you're actually going to get.
We spent an hour earlier today talking about that, and it's still going on in OCR.
And now if I come into the finish and there's anyone who cares about me in the crowd, they're filming Jack. And they're submitting that. And if Jack doesn't have someone filming me, I can't lose. But Jack might get screwed if you throw off a one bad rep, which you're going to find a bad rep.
You probably could, right? You slow it down enough and be like, look.
All I'm saying, I'm gonna be in DEKA, Florida in a couple of weeks racing. Audrey's gonna be there. My mom, both of my brothers. I'm gonna have 4 cameras out there. Do not script your reps. They're not recording me. They're recording everybody else.
Yep,
that's right.
Watch yourself.
Yep,
and that's what it opens the door for. It's gotcha. We don't want gotcha. We don't want results determined in a room. We want it determined on the floor. And we haven't solved it yet.
Well, it was fine. It was fine. And they opened it to this.
That's what I'm saying. We haven't solved this.
So what was the
sport
difference?
is another year.
It was fixed.
I'm saying
was
we
not
haven't
broken.
solved the fact that we need reviews and penalties in sport yet.
We don't need it.
So what was Jessica Vilia's penalty time?
Well, they were going to DQ her.
Yeah, and then they reversed that. Same with
Like
Mark,
5
right?
seconds, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
But Katie had a 20-second penalty this race, right?
She did.
And
So
on
what was-
film, there were several that fit the bill. She's moving so fast. That's the other thing. If you slow down or if you move fast enough, nothing looks like extension.
Were they calling her for extension? Is that what they said? Or is it like where her chest was hitting the...
Well, she was on the edge on both ends of the spectrum. I don't know which one they were calling. There was one for sure. I watched Yancey's head watch her, and she came up and snapped down. He didn't get up yet because she was moving so
She was
fast.
flying.
She was moving so fast. You need 2 judges.
Yeah. Here we are. They're going to do
What do
some
you do,
world
Rich?
champions? What
Fix
do you
it.
do?
Fix it right now.
No penalties.
Magic wand it.
Get it right on the course. And if you miss a call, you miss the call.
There you go.
There's no reason to have this.
Didn't we
open this
have-
door.
Didn't we have an announcement that Spartan staff was going to be in the burpee pit from now on, and the lunges, like the 2 most questionable areas? And it's like, if they miss it live, what can you do about it?
Apparently, give people penalties. With Yancey as the judge there, and still not calling her on no reps, are they just not going to call no reps now? We're just going to wait for this process at the end to really see what the finish is. We're like that's what happens in like the NFL, right? They call everything a catch, and then they review it is basically what it is. Like they lean one way and
Catch
it's like
until
okay,
proven otherwise. Yeah.
yeah,
Like
like
you have to call it a fumble now because you can't create a fumble in the booth. You can only take one away.
yes.
Mm.
So
Or a change of possession, I should say.
Yeah.
Like you have to treat it as if possession changed.
So that's what we're going to do now. We're not going to call no reps on the course, and we'll just figure it out in post. Should we just do all time trials then? Should we even race these races?
But only 7 people per time trial wave. Sometimes 8, 6 if it's a longer event, 7 if it's a shorter event.
And no rhyme or reason for it. Just put them wherever. I think FISO has this part locked in. I think if Spartan could take a page from FISO, then we're talking.
Here's what it comes down to. Our sport of hybrid racing can't handle compound movements. Wall balls would be easy if there was no squat component. Burpees would be easy if all they cared about was touching the ground and standing up. They didn't care about, but it's the down and the up that our sport can't figure out how to judge. CrossFit can do it just fine.
They do okay. It's just
Olympic
hard in
lifting
general.
does it great.
Right.
We can't do it. And so maybe we don't deserve compound movements where there's a form component to both ends of the spectrum. One would have to be a punishing component where it's harder to not do the depth or whatever than it is to do it.
Or it's just clear as day, right? There's no standard
Or clear as
of
day buckets
lockout.
for everyone.
like buckets all around.
Step over.
You're going
That's
over
all
something.
it is.
You're going
Yeah.
over something. Yeah, or then not have to
What-
worry about hip and overhead and
Just get from A to B. That's one movement. Go to the other side. There's your second one. Wall
Like what-
overs, step over. It's simple that way.
I mean, that's a better solution than this, than just
Mhm.
like not calling no reps and penalizing people later. Like this is crazy. It's so dumb. But I like that. I don't like that option very much of making everything more
Learn
simple.
to do it right.
No, I'm
That's
just saying that we're like that child who's been proven they can't be handled, like they can't be safe on YouTube without parents there. So you just don't get YouTube anymore. Like we can't be trusted with compound movements currently. So
But
maybe
it's
we
the
have
judging. It's not the athletes are doing. They got to ride that line.
the sport. I'm saying the sport has proven we can't handle compound
Burpee
movements.
broad jumps. Every single race, it seems like there's some controversy
Yeah.
with that. Wall balls, someone doesn't get deep enough. Ram burpees, someone's not locking out. Lunges, oh, they're not standing up vertically. You're right, Bracken.
We can't handle it.
No, it's the simple stuff. It's the how many meters are on this machine.
That's why
Nailed it.
CrossFit's version of the step ups, while it was a worse version, it took away controversy. Get up and over. It's a worse
Chad.
movement.
Yeah.
So maybe we need those. Maybe
That would be
maybe we
fine
don't.
if they could figure that out. Like if it was like burpees over a line at the end, or and like you
Yeah.
had, they have to have the ram though. But if there was something where it was like, yeah, like a burpee, yeah, ram toss, good, throw it over the wall,
Yeah.
get to the other side,
Not it a little bit.
burpee, throw it over the wall. But no, you're probably right in terms of having this.
I don't want to be. It's not good for us.
Yeah.
But we just
who-
keep again banging our head into this wall.
Who threw the farmer's carries also this weekend outside of the zone?
That was also
That was Katie.
But also
Okay.
it's like that's see, and then the like that Matt's making that video like he's Hiller or something like that. Now that's what we're focused on in this race. Like, where are people cheating? Where are people cheating? It's like it's crazy. That's not good.
It's yeah, it's like when we talked about people's hands ripping after grit games. It was like, why are we focusing on the negatives? Because all the videos that came out were about the negative.
Right. Exactly.
Now we're focusing on this on DEKAFIT because all the videos that came out from people there and the media are about this moment that the rule book allows to happen. Now, that I'm going to add to it. Those dumbbell drops, that was in a really bad spot with really bad timing of someone coming in and it almost hitting their ankle. Like that's a bad thing, but it's also a course setup flaw.
Right.
If the drop off of a weight is near the pickup of a weight,
pickup. Right.
that's really difficult to deal with.
Exactly. Right. Like where we should be talking about Kat and how she just came out of nowhere.
Right. This is her moment
Yep.
and she doesn't get it.
I'm pumped for the women's field, honestly. Like Kate D'Ambrosia, she won her debut in Sacramento. We saw Kat Fossbender this weekend just throw down, and we've had some serious names in this field who've placed at, or who run well at DEKA World Championships, and a lot of young blood here.
Yeah.
Coolest thing about Worlds last year was that this is going to sound terrible, so hear me out. Is that Meg and Lauren weren't there. Because you had no idea what was going to happen in the race while the race was even happening. Every move, it was like, can Morgan keep looking like this?
Yeah.
Will whoever run her down? What's going to
yeah.
happen? And we're going to have that this year. If, again, Lauren and Meg decide not to show up, there are a ton of women who are like, we haven't even seen close to their ceilings. They've only done one or two, and they're fast already.
Well, Lauren ran sub 32, so it's like she's clearly on paper the woman to beat, but you get a hungry pack and
she might not show up. She might
Or
not
her
show
not
up.
there, yeah.
That's
how the
true.
men's is going to be.
Yeah. They could be very similar fields. Like we're like when we're looking at it,
Mhm.
previewing it, we're like, it could be like one of five people.
What's going to happen?
Yeah.
Blowouts are impressive. Free-for-alls are fun to watch.
Totally.
Yep.
Totally. Yeah, it'll be great that Grayson has made big improvement here. That he's put himself out there racing a little bit more often. And he'll be right in that mix. If I'm him, I'm thinking I'm trying to win this thing. Because he very well
He's
could.
about to get paid 16 months from now.
Maybe even. But yeah, and throwing
Plus
a little
minus.
Colin Stiefer action too. We got ourselves.
Ebo just got paid, so he'll show up to another one.
They paid him. They
yeah.
better know better. He probably rolled up in the HQ. Started
let me know
snatching
what's up.
chains.
They paid him first.
They definitely paid.
Sorry,
him
sir.
first.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to cover on DEKA?
I'm just wondering who's going to be in Florida. That'll be a fun race. The last time to get your mark in the
Jack's
US.
gonna give them all the work.
I like after seeing Mark Paulzine going 30, 45 or whatever. And I beat him in Sacramento a few months ago. It's like, what can I do? I'm pretty pumped at that.
Yeah, you're more fit than now
With
than
a
that.
sea urchin in your foot.
Yeah, no, dude, you gotta take care of that.
I've
thing.
ripped that thing out.
What was the fastest female debut for a full DEKA?
Well, she broke the record, whatever it was at the time. 32,
Yeah, 32, 20 something. Yeah. Has to be.
Okay.
This is up there though. Like I remember
This is
Faye
up there.
Stenning and Lauren Stroud and Renee.
Oh, yeah.
They were like 33, 34 or something the first time in Palm Beach.
Mm-hmm. Huge performance.
Yeah, out of the
What,
slower
she's a
heat.
softball player, I think. Just quick Googling her. That's all I really saw in her. I know Matt did an interview, but I didn't listen to her or listen to it yet.
Yeah, so we'll see. Because that's just probably up there with
Clock's
fastest
ticking.
debut.
One more? Is that it?
One more DEKA event.
Is it?
Fit?
2 more weeks.
Is there, and maybe one UK, maybe something else in
UK.
Spain.
I'm talking US side. Yeah.
US side.
UK will have some, or we'll have one, I think, on the 14th or something. 14th,
get a
15th,
lot.
that
Down to
weekend.
crunch time.
It is. But yeah, we'll see Kat. She's, I mean, that time is the fourth fastest in the world, 10 seconds behind Lauren Griffith, and like 15 seconds in front of Tara.
Like what could she do in a high
45 seconds
rocks?
faster than
Yeah.
Morgan. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like, wow, this because all those women are competing for Elite 15.
Mhm.
So
It's like, now do we have a new US name? We already have such a dominant women's field for the US. It seems half the field is from the US. That's gonna be impressive, but she's not gonna be able to be in the Elite 15 this fall because of the window, I'm guessing. If she's only done doubles, she doesn't have a mark last year, right?
right, and as far as I know, she's only doing one.
Yeah.
Just double check. I think she's only doing one race, and
I think if she wins DEKA World, they'll let her in.
yeah, probably. Or she's doing Chicago and Vegas, but like, yeah,
They'll give her a
probably just-
golden ticket into a major.
I think that's fair.
Golden ticket
I think
for the
that's
rival
fair.
brand. Yeah.
All right, squad. Anything else we want to talk? What else we got? Anything going on this weekend?
Can't really think of it at the moment. Nah, just check out. Matt's gonna have some updates on as more info rolls in for FISO. So see
Sweet.
what happened.
Cool. All right, squad. Special Monday episode. Appreciate having you guys. We'll talk to you soon.